My name is Sean Jacobs. I go by the stage name of Cubs. In 2021, I had a near-death experience, and I went over to the other side for 13 minutes. Out of respect for those involved, out of respect for the experience, and so as not to implicate anybody, out of forgiveness, love, and a deep understanding of the nature of fate and reality, I'm going to start my story at the end. I was lying on the floor, my heart beating faster and louder than I've ever felt. I had a deep sense of panic and overwhelm. My breathing became labored, and this sudden knowing and realization that it was my time to go filled my consciousness. There I was in the experience that I had been running from my whole life, the dying experience. The moment that I realized my physical body was about to perish, my mental body began to cling like never before. My ego. There was a shaky vignette of darkness around the corners of my vision that started to close in more and more until it created this dark tunnel. Out of that dark tunnel emerged a light. I'm only calling this a light because that's how we would describe it, but it was a vibration, an illumination of consciousness, a feeling of eternal peace and comfort, like home of homes. I was drawn to this peace like a magnet, but the part of me that was having a hard time letting go of my life experience, my ego, was clinging, blaming, and resisting. So in this moment of this near-death experience, I am panicking. What have you done? We are dying. You wasted a whole beautiful life. Then the blame kicked in. I blame the people that have done this, but I blame you for being here. I blame the person that introduced you to the person that invited you here for this grave error and mistake leading to our death. It was this very punishing feeling. As this light started to draw closer and become brighter, the fear had nowhere else to go. It was backed all the way into a corner. A voice came through, and this voice that I can only describe as stern, loving, wise, and primordial said, "Surrender to the experience." I let my hands go because they were grasping and shaking, and I went into the light. This light became me. Once I was in that light, I merged with non-duality, God consciousness. I merged with spirit, and in this spirit, there are only a few things that I can describe to an audience. The color orange, the feeling of peace, like the peace that we're promised as humans one day. An eternal love like all of the hugs and kisses from all of the grandmothers in all of history. The awareness of this place that I was in, this blissful, heavenly, omnipotent awareness, was that of non-duality. It was that of God. In non-duality, in this space that I found myself, I was all things. I was the Alpha and the Omega, beyond time, beyond form, beyond circumstance. It was the most exalting and powerful love that you can imagine. I've had a difficult time sharing this experience with people because I think as humans we all cling to the version of the afterlife where there are, 72 virgins, or like your grandma and Abraham Lincoln playing beer pong. But I believe that there is a place for that. I believe that there are levels of consciousness that we all reside in as humans. But this place that I went to was the place beyond all of those levels, the place of non-duality. On my way up to that place, I had a life review, and I got to see all of the moments of my life, the good, the bad, the flow, the resistance, the contraction, the expansion. Not only did I get to see my memories of my life, but I got to feel them from the perspective of other people. I got to feel how I touched my listeners. I got to feel how I made people feel when I was on stage, or my mom when I told her I loved her. I also experienced the opposite. When I was younger, I got to have a fully immersive experience of what it means to be Sean, and there was some stuff that was very hard to sit with and to look at, followed by this immediate forgiveness of a new memory. Something so much simpler and more profound. I realized in that moment of letting go that our life is just a journey of love. All of our experiences are just how many steps removed or how far away from love we are. I realized that the fabric of reality itself, creation itself, time, all of the forces that we identify with are God, and God is love. When I finally was able to shed my own consciousness and cross over, I became God. I became that love. I became everyone in existence. This singularity consciousness from which we all come is just love. I've had a lot of questions about this nature of non-duality. When I was over there for a very brief point in time, I knew everything. I saw everything. When I came back, I didn't remember most of it, but I was given this very simple understanding of how the universe is and how it was created. We as humans can conceive of most levels of reality, but historically, we've only been able to attain most of them. It goes as far back into prehistory, the pagans and stuff, and they believed in a mother and a father god. That's duality, polarity. I realized that as humans we all come from a mother and a father. It's only natural for us to believe that they are two separate people, that their love and the connection between the two of them wasn't a separate party, wasn't the actual thing that they were. What I discovered was that God created two, so God could experience thyself, so God could love thyself. From two polarity was created, and polarity created opposing forces, which created all of the events that unfolded to the Big Bang, the expansion, contraction, the harmony, disharmony, all at once. Everything was just birthed from there. Beyond all of this, there is just one, and we are that one. There is no separation between us and that, because that is us. We are that. We are, and we are love. I returned to my body after. I couldn't tell you how long I was there because there wasn't time, because there isn't time, and I was crying and shaking, and I had felt so touched, so loved, so chosen. I don't mean special chosen like I'm on a podcast. I mean deeply, deeply chosen by me, and you are chosen by you. My life took a series of wild turns after this. An entirely new understanding of how everything works, integrating back into a musician, a soon-to-be father, a friend. I will say that when I did return to my own life and my own consciousness, I understood why we ascribe power to things outside of ourselves. I understand why the saints and the mystics in the Old Testament talked about this powerful, scary God, because this force is it's omnipotent, it's massive. When you're dealing with this and interfacing from a human standpoint, it's scary, dude. It's super scary. I was very scared. But when you let go of fear, the truth will appear. So simple and clear. I heard it in a song right after, and I was like, yeah, because beyond that fear, which is separation, was unity. And unity is love, and love is creation. That is the message, as convoluted and difficult to describe as it is. I know that I'm here, and I know I was in that room dying, having that experience to come back and talk about. I wanted to say, for anybody out there watching these videos, they're so fascinating. They're all so different and diverse and wonderful and inspiring. We all search for these videos to remember. We think maybe sometimes it's because we have a loved one who's sick and we want to feel better about where they're going, but we're just wanting to remember. So I have this reading I'd like to share called the Diamond Radiance Prayer. I love the divinity within me. I love the divine within the divine. I love the divine that is the divine, and I can call upon the divine to help me see that I am unbroken. The whole, not a piece. I merge with the divine, and I wake from the dream washed in the river of love that is me. Thank you for listening, and I love you. I see you, and I am you. We all fall in when the love is in our eyes, staring lost at the sky. We all fall in when the love is in our eyes.